What I'd like to do is call to order the special town meeting for February 22nd, 2024. It's now 6:02. If I could begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are all here registered voters? Yes. Okay, outstanding. First order is to elect a moderator. I would entertain a motion. The floor is open for nominations.
I would like to make a motion, Dan Carter nominates this meeting.
Do we have a second? Okay. Any other nominations?
Who seconded that? Brian?
Brian.
I'd like to make a motion, we close nominations.
Okay, motion on order. We're going to wait and just make three times. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, we will declare nominations closed, and I'm elected by unanimous consent. Next up, I'm going to take a motion. I'm going to move that we elect the town clerk as our secretary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? No nominations. I declare nominations closed. The town clerk is going to be our secretary for tonight by unanimous consent. The town clerk will now read the call.
Warning, notice the special town meeting in the town of Bethel, Connecticut. The legal voters of the town of Bethel, Connecticut, and those persons entitled to vote therein are notified to assemble at a special town meeting to be held in the Clifford J. Hergen Municipal Center, Meeting Room A, 1 School Street, Bethel, Connecticut, on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, at 6 p.m. for the following purpose to wit. Number 1, to consider and make a determination pursuant to Public Act 23-5, an act implementing early voting, as to whether to direct the Registrar of Voters to designate an additional voting location or locations in Bethel for the purposes of early voting in the 2024 presidential primary. Number 2, to take any and all action legally necessary or appropriate to accomplish the above intended results. Dated at Bethel, Connecticut, this 14th day of February, 2024. Board of Selectmen Daniel E. Carter, First Selectman, Richard C. Straighten, Selectman, and Brian Terzian, Selectman.
Thank you, Lisa. Town Council, could you please read the resolution?
Yes. Shall the town of Bethel, pursuant to Public Act number 23-5, an act implementing early voting, direct the registrars of voters to designate an additional voting location or locations in Bethel for the purpose of early voting in the 2024 presidential primary.
Thank you. And before discussion, when we, I'm just going to put one thing out there. With this, when we do take a vote, and I'm going to say this now and I'll say it at the end. A yes for this means we will establish another location. A no for this means we will not establish another location. Okay, so with that, I'll pass off to the town clerk or to the town registrar if you wanted to say a few words about where this comes from.
Yes, so as town council mentioned, there's Public Act number 23-5 that established early voting, and it requires and mandates that every town and the registrars in every town administer early voting. And that's for 4 days before a presidential election, 7 days before state, federal, and local primaries, and 14 days before municipal, state, or federal elections. And there is an exception for Easter. So it's Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday, except for holidays, state holidays. And the hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., except that on the last Tuesday and Thursday before an election or state primary, the hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have established this room as the early voting location for the presidential primary. In addition to it being a mandate that we administer early voting, the legislation in 23-5 also said that not only are the towns that have more than 20,000 population, which Bethel now is, they have the option to add a second or third location for early voting. But beyond being enabling legislation, it requires that the legislative body of the municipality make the decision formally. And in Bethel, the town meeting form of government, this is our legislative body. This location has long been used more than 10 years for election day registration, where people on election day can come in, register to vote, and then get a ballot and vote. This room will be perfect for early voting as well. No one in Connecticut has ever done early voting before. We really don't know how many voters will come out and vote for early voting. The Secretary of State has suggested that perhaps 18% will vote by early voting. We'll see how that works out. But this being a presidential primary, only Republicans and only Democrats will be voting. So that's only half the town anyway. We're not expecting large numbers. In the presidential primary in 2020, 900 Republicans and 1,500 Democrats voted in their respective primaries for president. In 2016, there were 1,633 Republicans and 1,500 or 1,600 Democrats who voted in the presidential primary. So we're expecting maybe that level of in 2016 or 2024 to be voting in the presidential primary. However, by early voting, maybe 18% of that number. And again, it's spread out over a 4-day period. So we think that this location will work out fine. To select a second location, that would mean that the registrars would have to split themselves between 2 different locations, and we'd have to double the number of people who would be working the election. That would double the costs to the town of Bethel for running early voting. So you'd be taking a state mandate and then doubling the cost burden on the town. We normally vote on election day here at Stony Hill and at the Berry School. With early voting requiring 4 days for the presidential primary, 14 days for elections, and 7 days for state primaries, you'd be tying up other locations for a long time. I don't think Berry School would want to surrender their gymnasium for 14 days in November, or actually in August. It probably wouldn't really matter. And then finally, we think that Bethel should stay with 1 early voting location until experience proves that we need more than 1. So our recommendation would be to vote against adding a second location.
Thank you, Jim. With that, are there any discussion? Okay, if you would state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Brenda Reed, and my address is 9 Grandview Avenue.
Can you spell Reed for me? Is it R-E-E-D?
R-E-E-D.
Thank you.
I've spoken to Dan several times, and I wanted to bring this issue more to, another forum, because I feel bad for him. He has to keep listening about this issue. So I'm moving it on. I can't believe that in today's society, we are allowing voters to go. So I'm like jumping on your second location. I cannot believe that we are allowing voters to go into Berry School when children are in that school. Children are in that school for special elections and other elections. They're in that building. And I've heard, oh, there's a police officer there. Nope, the 2 times I've been there, he was called away. I've heard the door is locked from the gym into the school. If you talk to the teachers down there, they're going to tell you people are in and out of that building all day long. I'm a sub there. I had to be fingerprinted to go into that building. But yet, the day of voting, anybody pretty much can go in and out. They have access to our children. Even if you know those people that are going in that building, they still have access to the children in there. They use the bathrooms. The children are in the hallway right there. Art and music, they're right there. The teachers have said it's a very disruptive day when voting is in there. Not to mention, it's not safe. I can't believe that as close as we are to another school around here, that we're allowing people in Berry School with small children. These are small children that, will talk to a stranger, and strangers are in that building. I just moved here from Annapolis, as many of you know. There was over 40,000 voters in the city of Annapolis. Every time there was an election, with children, all the voters moved to a different location because it was for the safety of the children and nobody minded. So I feel like here in Bethel, as the powers that be, if you could re-examine that and do what's right for children and for the safety of those children and not allow voting on days when children are present in Berry Elementary. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, now, one more time, I'll remember that a yes vote is a yes for having additional locations. A no vote is a vote for not having additional locations. Make sure we understand.
One location here.
There's one location here, no vote, and one location here. Right, is that clear for everybody? All right, with that, I will try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Favor,
All, we've read the motion.
right, so you're
Yeah.
saying no.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say no. No. The nays have it. The motion fails. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah. It's a new thing. It doesn't usually go that way. With that, that concludes our business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make motion to adjourn.
Second. Okay, with that, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We stand adjourned. It is 6:14 PM. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your work.
Some detailed explanation of our reasons for not
Yes.
additional